another finger snapping morning. Ha ha ha! Yeah! Come walk with me. Ha! And save your feet and toes. Yeah, I say, get your chair, get your mat, jump on your bike, line up if you're walking wall to wall, and let's get this party started, right? Oh yeah! Purpose. That's what I like about the song. I remember while I'm walking, not to get a boyfriend, not to fit into, not to fit into a smaller size, but to stay healthy. When I used to work out to the gym, you used to great. I was like, staying alive. I used to work out to stay alive. Make sure all the blood got everywhere it's supposed to go, etc., etc., etc. Great Rod isn't, y'all. Great Rod isn't on this rainy day. Yeah, y'all know as I get closer to my separation, my matter starts vibing with this weather. It's raining outside, so my matter is all stiff. Like, comment, share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Ooh. Thanks for coming on the walk. I hope it's helping y'all. I mean, I look at my videos and I listen to my videos, and it's something that I said when I first started walking. I said when I get older, I mean, they probably won't hook up all my memory. But I think YouTube will still be here. And if I can sit there in my old age and watch myself. Yep, and talk to myself. Yeah. And just have a good time every morning. If I don't have a walk where I am, I know to jump up and start doing my arm exercises, legs exercises, stretching for this half hour or whatever that I'll be talking. Hold on a minute, y'all. I got a fan issue, honey. I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay, way better, y'all. Y'all know I'm in the basement. So, and this is my family. So I need all the oxygen and the blood and all them vitamins and stuff and the stuff I eat. I need it to get where it's supposed to go. You know? So, that song is so purposeful. I know I'm supposed to be sharing it. I know I'm supposed to be selling it. I'm supposed to be pushing it like a salesperson. And when I was younger, I would. We didn't have this social media thing. I used to have to use faxes. Then emails came, and then there was emails. And now... Oh, yes. I don't know if y'all remember when Giuliani was mayor of New York City. Excuse me. We used to always go to Harlem to get stuff because the vendors would be out, the African vendors would be out. So you can go there and get all your African supplies, your scarves, everything. And of course they had the imitation handbags. Let me not leave that out. And Giuliani got rid of them. He moved them off 125th Street over to I think 119th Street or something. Now at that time, we were really upset with Giuliani. But he said you was blocking and taking the money, the African traders, they were taking the money away from the stores that were on 125th Street. So I think he moved them over to 119th Street and set up an area like that. And they could quite possibly still be there. We were angry at first. But Giuliani did something when he moved them over there that was kind of halfway good. Because technically, as warden of the city, he wasn't supposed to allow. It's in the penal code, on this penal code. You're not supposed to allow a large group of African American people. But here's the catch. They weren't African American. They were African traders. So he just moved them over. I'm saying that to say, on this penal colony, where we're labeled born in blood inmate criminals, because our ancestors were sent here to this penal colony by the crowns of Europe. Yes, Africa and Europe is not that far away from one another. And the Africans used to jump on their boat all the time, just like they went to South America. It's all true, it's all documented. And so, we are labeled, because they were prisoners of war, and they were imprisoned here on this penal colony, and every child born to them was enslaved and labeled born in blood inmate criminals. So he wouldn't have moved us, because he would have been facilitating a criminal enterprise. Criminal enterprise, a gathering of African Americans. That's why I said, if y'all, if your people a couple generations from Jamaica, claim that Jamaican, if y'all a couple of generations, or y'all first generation African, from Nigerian, say Nigerian. Ghanaian, say Ghanaian, say Ghanaian. South African, say South African. Because that will save you in this penal colony. The laws and rules for you will be different. Yes. That's why I used to study the books, and they say, during like the height of enslavement, there was Africans coming over and visiting and doing trading conference over here on this penal colony. But they didn't attack the crown. They weren't against the crown. So they were able to trade. Whereas we born on this penal colony, labeled pure positive that we are against the crowns. So there's laws that don't apply to us. There's laws that apply to us. And there's, oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Voting Rights Act. It only applies to us. And you say, oh, Vicki, but that's nothing. Did you see them gunmen walking around there at that last election? It used to be dogs. It used to be the fire truck with the water hose. When you go to vote and your skin is dark, you are claiming this penal colony rules and laws, what have you. Anyway, let me go back to the point I'm making. Okay. So when you get together as African Americans, and that's why if you're from Ghana, Nigeria, and you do any kind of business, make sure to put that there. If you are really dark Africans and you're Hispanic, or you're from some Hispanic, make sure to include whatever Hispanic country you're from. It's important that you put it on all your business documentation. Now, the reason why it's important, because when you gather to do business or you pull in business partners, you will not be considered a criminal enterprise. Even though you are, but you won't be. You can say, Dominican this. Yeah, they ain't gonna bother you. They ain't gonna bother you. Say, oh, y'all moving cocaine. No. You're not the enemy of the crown. Okay, so make sure to put that on there. If you're from Haiti, put your Haiti restaurant. Put your Haiti shoes. Put your Haiti anything. That is the... Any business you do, anytime you cooperate or try to group with another, you will not be bothered on this penal colony. I didn't make the rules. They were already here when I got here. It just took me this long to understand them. Because they're so convoluted. So, then, I'm fine with the ancestors. And I do listen to podcasts. And then the ancestor advised me, serial killers are very successful. And of course I was like, oh boy, what trip we vibing on now? They said very successful because they do it alone. They work alone. They're businessmen, entrepreneurs. This lady alleged serial killer is an architect. You do it alone for success. And that's quite weird, but they don't go around telling everybody that they shoot it, but they do what they do. So, okay, this is the ancestor vibe. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting that, but I'll share your vibe. I do know that Suge Knight would have been very successful had he went at it alone. Alone. Just business. Not blood, not red, not blue, just business. He'd have been so successful, he'd have been able to put out a lot of artists. But he grouped. He grouped and he stayed grouped. And he stayed entouraged. On this penal colony, they know that you're doing some criminal enterprise. Why? Labeled born in blood and made criminal on this penal colony. So if we group together, it has to be something criminal. And they can break it up. Sometimes when you're having something big with a whole bunch of labeled born in blood and made criminals, they do send people in to start some kind of ruckus or confusion so the patty rollers can come in and break it up and send folks to jail. Because technically, on this penal colony, we're not supposed to group like that. That's why you lost Rosewood. Oh, they came in, and I respect that story. And even in the research, everything in the research said, no, criminal enterprise. And I said, no, they were racist. They were racist. They just didn't want us to have a town. Wasn't it? You're not allowed. We're not allowed to. This penal colony, whenever we group like that, we're doing some kind of criminal enterprise. Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, stuff like that, that entourage slimmed down a lot. From back in the days when everybody was popping everybody off, somebody got a clue and said, listen, no, we can't group like this. You can do the same thing, but you just can't do the grouping. But you're more successful as an individual. Here for us. So I wish we stopped saying, oh, we can never get along, we can never come together. We better not. Because when we do on this penal colony, and the old people used to say it all the time when we get together, either somebody going to jail or somebody going to the grave. And again, I used to say to myself, whoo, that's a little steep. But it always happened. Always happened. Even now when I look at stuff down south, they be having a good time and then there's a shootout. That's set up. You're not supposed to gather. It's basically against penal colony rule. And I said, oh, they was partying in the house, and then they started shooting up. Yeah. Yeah. Penal colony rule. You're not supposed to gather. When the attack of when the World Trade Centers fell down, the first thing they did was stop gathering. All the presidents, I know all the Republican ones, but the Hatfields, McCoy, all the ignorance, Republican Dems, they all the same. They're all the same. They put it in place. So that's why the gangs, as soon as they saw you gaining up, they pull that truck up and load you up. Because you're not supposed to gather. Yeah! I am so stiff. Come on with me. Oh. And save you. I love when the sun shines. Yeah. That's why I love my backdrop. But I'm bringing out my apples and my fall trees. Oh yeah. Cause if I start walking now, oh yeah, they put me up until just the nose. Yeah. Hey! Come on with me. And say, Mr. Ron Jackson on guitar, the master. Yeah. Maestro. Seven string guitar. Save your toes and feet. Yeah. Cause when you walk with me, oh yeah, you can eat. And I do. Ha ha! All the food I want to eat. But I don't like to eat a lot of food. Once you start exercising, you don't feel like eating a whole lot of food. Especially as you get older. Food ain't all that is cut up to be. Ha ha! Cause if I stop walking now, what? They'll cut me up until I'm just a nose. Yeah. Oh. I'm so tired of being a lab rat on this penal colony, I can't even tell you. But that experiment with the antibiotics, every time you went to the dentist, that was the worst. That was the worst experience. Sick as a dog. But they only did it to black people. So, it doesn't matter. And then someone said, oh, when you give them all that antibiotics, you totally wipe out the body's immune system. That like they can't fight against anything. And then 20 years after they stopped their 30-year run of making us take all those antibiotics, and 30 years of screwing up weakening our antibodies and stuff, and then COVID hit and wiped us out in one fell swoop. And I knew why. So yeah, I lost quite a few teeth because I didn't feel like being sick all the time. So over the years, I may have had 10 poisonings. Only 10 poisonings. But the pain in my mouth was so severe that I had to. Yep, I used to love to go get my teeth cleaned and stuff. But then they said, well, you have to take this bucket load of antibiotics before you get your teeth cleaned and be sick for 2 days. So I skipped the teeth cleaning. And I only went when it was so severe that the tooth had to come out. So, I don't want to be a lab rat on this penal colony no more. I think I did my lab rat time. And in true fashion of the ancestors, I have survived. When that COVID came through, they said, go on the ground and jump on your treadmill. Because they come to wipe you through. It was a long con. It was a long con. And the end result was African Americans being wiped with that COVID. They ain't had no antibodies. They spent 30 years getting rid of them. Anyway, so you look at successful people, especially African Americans. When I told y'all I studied Reginald F. Williams, yeah, he was this huge, successfully famous businessman. His claim to fame was he bought the McCall Pattern Company, and then he brought this huge corporation that had all these, it was like French Little Debbie and the Spanish Dipsy Doodles or different companies, but they were all under one umbrella, and he bought the umbrella. And that was major. And they started really going after him because he was a born in blood label, born in blood inmate criminal, and they could not believe that he was able to do that. So when he sold McCall, and the investors got, what did they say, $99 on a dollar? The payout was great. African Americans was proud. They started gathering. But he was holding his own. He took that big umbrella that he bought with all the little Debbies and Hostess cakes and all that stuff that's all over the world, and he started selling them off. Took them from under the umbrella. So then they started getting mad at him. But he was working so hard, he literally fried his brain. He died of an aneurysm, and I could totally see that. Because manifestation takes such concentration. And the wealth that he did. And it was at the right time because David Dinkins was there as mayor. And it was also the right time for the ancestors because that's when they found the remains of the Africans from when the Dutch ruled the New England part of this penal colony. And it all came together like that. But he was able to be successful because basically he worked as an entity. Reginald F. Lewis. Lewis, thank you. Now I knew it wasn't William. Reginald F. Lewis. He probably said, get my name right. He was probably bothering, get my name right, brother. So, you look at gangs, and you see how gangs, they don't prosper. They're considered criminal enterprises from the start. But the patty rollers are able to manipulate them. They're able to use them to get organ parts. Like I said, when I was younger, not even a child, a young adult, they used to be begging for donors of hearts, etc., etc. But they found out that if they drop a few guns amongst the among the gangs, after a while they'll have all the hearts, lungs, kidneys, eyeballs, veins that they need from these young men. The only danger is maybe they smoke weed, cigarettes, and did a little alcohol, but that's it. The organs are excellent. So they found out how to use them. Like I said, I didn't realize it till the orange shit stain and was allowing these ignorant folks on the attack. So, things coming on the walk. But I noticed, and I said it yesterday, but I was laughing so much when I was looking at the video, I was like, I don't think they got that message. That boy, Rittenberger, I get this name right. You know the one that shot took his AK rifle and shot those 3 people, killed 2? That one doing that thing up in, was it Washington or Midwest somewhere? At the same time, in Chicago, there was a huge gang shootout. I couldn't understand it at the time. I said, wait a minute. That little boy's mother drove him a state over to get in the shootout for the white peoples. But to get the black people in Chicago, they ain't going after the white people that's walking all around them with AKR. They ain't going after them. When they got guns, they shot up each other. So much so, it was bigger news. And what's that man's name? Lovejoy, Lovecraft, whatever. They was all over her. I kept saying to myself, wait a minute here now. That little white boy, he'd get his gun, he'd go for the fight. They dropped guns at the same time, hide everything. Cops, patty rollers, pulling us out the car, blowing our brains out, doing whatever they want to do. And they dropped guns in Chicago. And all those boys did was shoot up each other, so much so it was a big deal. I couldn't understand that. I kept saying to myself, if you had enough guns to shoot up each other, why wasn't you out here taking care of the taking care with the taking care, and y'all know what I'm talking about, George Floyd? Why y'all ain't taking care of the taking care of the taking care, George Floyd? You know what I'm talking about. I'm already at the bottom. Why would they turn the guns on one another? And I was like, oh shit. That's it. All those trainings, all those years, we're not supposed to gather together. So over the years, first it was the patty rollers, the wardens and the overseers, making sure that it was always a kerfuffle if we all got together. But then they didn't have to do it anymore. They just had to drop off a gun at a family picnic, and the picnic would be over. Done. They wouldn't take that gun and run out there and harm hair on the head of that pretty little blonde. Wouldn't. But would blow off every braid I had in my hair. I don't know what to tell you. So, you can't group. It's not leading to success. Now, I had a thought, I had a vibe. Ancestors was talking. And I talk about the cults. That's why the cults are so popular. Because you can meet in a cult. You can meet, what did they have, a church with 10,000 members. And I can't remember who it is, but they found all these hundreds of thousands hidden in walls in the church. I call it the cult. Y'all call it the church, the cult house. But because they're white, there's no thought about them being a criminal enterprise. And you can gather. Pimps in the pulpit. You can go to the cults and gather and give all your money to the pimp in the pulpit. But you ever notice, with all those people, can you imagine maybe 10,000 people going into a church and you can't stand out there and sell a sandwich to make money to feed your kid? You can't sell your jewelry. You can't sell anything that you have, because then you make it a criminal enterprise. You can give to the pimp in the pulpit, and you can give to his bottom bitches and stuff, but you can't say, hey, 10,000 people, y'all can call one another. You can say, oh, I do weddings. But nothing else. So the successful people I have watched, I've been through all the books. They Can Grow Rich, They Grow This, the Black Thing, The Secret, The Science of Getting Rich, Richard Individual. Minding your business gives you success. You get out there and sell yourself. Don't worry about the other people that sell. This is penal colony mentality. That doesn't work for us, nor apply for us. Just. You keep selling and pushing your wares. You keep putting it out on the ethers, because believe it or not, African Americans, they pick up a lot of stuff on the ethers. Boy, they don't have that. They don't have that. They don't have that, wife. They don't have that. Putting it out there. You keep putting it out there. You don't stop. You don't stop. I didn't do my hand exercise. We run a little over. Okay. Did I even do my finger exercises? Oh my goodness. Oh, how can I expect these fingers not to knot up if I don't do something to stretch them out? Ooh. If I don't do something to stretch them out, they're going to knotty up. They're going to knotty up. They're going to knotty up. All right, let's knock this out. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Tuck in your elbow, squeeze your gut. This is the odd way, but it works. I can lift anything. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, thanks for coming on the wall. Oh, FB sending me so much love. Okay, squeeze your gut. Tuck in your elbow. Neither up nor down. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1 for good luck. Whew. I need that gulp. Y'all be sweating like me? Or just be me? Because y'all know I'm a sweat. Because that's another reason for all this. I gotta get them toxins out. Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. Whew. Yes. Whew. So yesterday I was laughing so hard. When I looked at the video, I said they never understood what I was saying. I was saying, now that they're taking these hillbillies, Alabama, stuff like that, drugs, you know, they white people, the redneck, Hatfields and McCoys and Douglas, and I was saying, but it tickled me so much when the ancestors were writing it to me that I couldn't hardly make a clear sentence. I was saying that now this is the time for Ukraine. I know you're under war and all that kind of stuff with Russia, but it don't make no difference. There's going to be little white kids here that's going to be overtaxing the foster care system or in jail with their mothers. Y'all can come over here and adopt a few. You got it like that. Then I said, India ain't at war. From what I see, all those Netflix Indian movies, they like to lighten up. The darker Indians and stuff, even in the movie stuff, the darker Indians, they don't get the full play like the lighter skinned Indians. You can look at the Netflix movie and see. So I was like, this is your time to come over here and adopt some of them little babies. Because the mama's going to be in jail for doing drugs. By the time the baby is born, because the mother's in jail, the baby would have stopped all the shaking and everything like that. I don't know why Indians aren't coming over here and adopting these little babies. If they go to jail, they can meet the parents right at the mother right at the jail. And then I said, and I started laughing so hard, and even now on the inside I'm tickled, but I am not going to mess up those words. I was trying to sound like an African yesterday, trying to make, oh, boo, 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 boo. What I was saying was, these white people over here on this penal colony been adopting little African kids since I know myself. Because they all on the TV and everything. Every cult paper that you see nothing but little African American kids. No, not African American. African kids being adopted by white Americans. Now, they need you to come over and save their little kids. Because they're putting them in an overtaxed foster care system, which probably they call it a human trafficking, sex trafficking, or whatever. And you can come and help them. China, they've been adopting Chinese, these Hatfields and McCoys over here in this penal colony. They've been adopting little Chinese babies since I know myself. Y'all got enough money. You got enough room. Y'all don't want to have no more babies. You did the one thing, Charles. It's over with now. Y'all can come over here and get a little, 4 or 5 of them hollers and hills folks, because their mamas is in jail for drugs. Help the white people out. They helped y'all. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to say yesterday. Come over. South America, I know they cutting you down that thing, but they are very successful South American families who also want to lighten up or put a little Europe in their DNA. Let me put it like that. They want a little European in their DNA. You can, these babies, you just come, please. Adoption will not be hard. Just make sure you have a couple $1,000s to pay the overseers and stuff, and it's a done deal. Yep, that's what I meant to say yesterday. Okay, go back to today's conversation. The only way to make it on this penal colony is capitalism, but it's individual capitalism. I was raised by the cults. And the cults are a liar because how can you group? These cults talk about family. How can you be a family if the minute you're born and your family ain't married, you're an outcast because you're a bastard. How is this a family when if your sexual preference changed from theirs, you're not a family? Manipulation. DNA. I'm not close to my family, but that was put in place when I got here. I came here on the fact that maybe my father, it was sisters, maybe he went for one, and then he went with the other, and my mother, oh, here I am. So I came out, and it was like, we don't like you, and I didn't know the backstory. You know, when you're born, you don't know the backstory. You're born in the middle of a story in place. So I didn't know that that's what it was. I didn't know that if you're all born bastards, then it breaks down into an African American community. It breaks down into skin tone. The lighter ones are the better ones, and the darker ones aren't. So I didn't know that either. I didn't know that. I was one of the darker ones. And I had two sisters who were light skinned. That's on my mother's side. On my father's side, I didn't know that being a bastard, because that's cult, my father was the Islamic cult, and then of course the Southern Baptist cult. I didn't know that instantly I'm at the bottom. And basically, I'm just supposed to, yeah, I'm part of the family. Yeah, I'll do anything for you. Yeah, sure. I'll watch your kids. I'll scrub your floor. Thank you. Just let me be part of the family. I didn't know I was supposed to do that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that. But that's what family is. But what DNA is? DNA means that you're all connected, regardless if you're a bastard, regardless if you're gay and you're shunned, or you're a bastard and you're shunned. That don't mean, shun shit don't mean nothing. All your DNA meet. That's why I call them my DNAers, not my family. They're my DNAs. They have never been family to me because I've on one side, the darkest of all the bastards. And on the other side, a bastard with my father being married and having his own family. So I never would fit into that. I'm always under that. And I was like, I don't like that position, so I went on my own. And I found my family. I found my family in helping one another. I found my family in talents. I produced my plays for years. They were my family, my director, my family, the actors and actresses, my family. And that's how it came about. Anyone had a project, Vicki, we're doing this project. I remember I helped for 2 Thanksgivings, I helped the black accountants out of Stanford. They became my family, and all we could do, I'm not an accountant. I said they was asking for volunteers for Thanksgiving dinner, and I saw I was like, black accountants. I went there, and those people were fierce. Oh my goodness, that food was. That was like my family. I felt so loved. I felt, that's what family is. Everybody else, either their DNA or not. Your DNA or not. And I said to say, so go on about your business. I still think if I hadn't been under the rose-colored glasses when I developed Africans in America theme park, I would have charged straight ahead as an individual, and I would have gotten a lot further. But I was already indoctrinated into this cult and this cult society said, "Oh no, you need family to be successful." No, not on this penal colony. Family bring you down. Now, not all the time. I think that if say if you have to start with family, y'all start together, you make it. The minute you get to that spot, branch out. I know, sweetie pies. Tim had his criminal enterprise shit going on, but if he hadn't, how he was branching out off of sweetie pies was awesome. Don't stay in the family. You see how Michael Jackson did? Branch out. Start without them. But if you need them, and then branch out. It doesn't work good. Doesn't work good in this penal colony. Look at drug dealers. They get caught because all the drug addicts and stuff stay around the area where the drugs is. You can't gather like that on this penal colony. So they always gonna get taken down. They're always gonna get flushed out. Because wherever they go with their drugs, they create a group of people menacing in groups around whatever, and that's not allowed here. So that's why they just come and round up everybody and take them out. There are successful drug dealers, like the makers of Oxycontin. They done poisoned the whole world, and they still love them. They done got professional people strung out so much they commit suicide, and they still love them. The biggest drug dealer in the world. Oxycontin that came out of Connecticut on this penal colony. Done poisoned and killed more people than any African American ever has. They can gang up like that. We can't. There was nothing criminal about it. And everything criminal about it. And now so many people are dead. You think anybody say, "Oh, we hate Americans. They release Oxycontin on the world, on the globe." Nope. They still saying, "Them black people we..." See? Them black people we still hate. Oh, be scared of them black people. Oh, Indians hate them black people. Oh, Chinese hate them black people. Asians hate them black people. Oh, you hate them black people. But it wasn't us. Oxycontin was released by these white folks. In the most ignorant penal state on this penal colony. Connecticut. They ain't give a shit. They was just making money. And every time, I remember my girlfriend, Johanna, told me, hold on. Yeah, I'm all off topic. I remember she told me, when I met her, we was walking the dogs together. And at the time, she was unemployed. I have a way of doing that. Not the unemployed. By the time we had known each other, maybe less than 6-7 months, she got a job. That's my vibration. Anyway, so her husband used to be a tree cutting type person who was always falling out of the tree. And he had these back injuries, but since he ain't had a job, he had stayed. And every time they go to the doctor, they would give him Oxycontin, cousin, second removed, or they give him Oxy, faked in. But he wanted He knew there was this medicine that would take that pain right off him. Oxycontin. Too expensive. State insurance wasn't paying for it. I think they pay for it now. If you can't beat them, join them. Back then, the state wasn't paying for it. And he had been trying to get disability. It took them years, and he finally got disability. He got Medicare and started running around to doctors with his back, getting prescription Oxycontin. And then she told me, I saw it, walking the dog. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen your husband long. And she said he died. That she took the dog out and she came back and he was sitting on the couch, a beer in his hand, looking at the TV, deader than dead. She had to run around, getting rid of all the Oxycontins, pouring them down the toilet and stuff. Because she thought that they was going to come in. She thought she was an African American. She didn't realize she was white and British. She thought they was going to look around or whatever. No, they didn't. They literally just came in. He was dead. And they looked at him and they called the morgue. No report, nothing was written. They just, oh, he's dead. And the funeral home came and picked him up. Now, that's the extent of it. But she went around throwing out all these drugs and stuff. And she was so upset because she said he'd still be alive if he had still been getting Oxycontin cousin twice removed. If all those off-brands. But the minute he got Oxycontin, I can't say the minute, she said he must have lived at least 6 months after getting Medicare, which means it took 6 months of the Oxycontin, and finally, that was the last straw. So, she was better off when they didn't have that Oxycontin, because at least she had him. He may have had some pains, but she had him. So, those are the biggest pushers. But they don't stand around on the corner. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't stand around on the corner. They're in an office. They employ people. They pay taxes. That's the way drugs are moved. In addition to, the patty rolls overseeing the wardens, letting them come in. But that's how you do it. But out here, y'all selling that heroin and they circling around you. You think you're doing it in your house, don't nobody know. You're coming in and out like a revolving door. I never understood. I was like, why can't y'all put an LLC on something? Get a little office space somewhere? Get a little store shop somewhere? Yeah, the Africans came and did it. The Jamaicans came and did it. They bought those stores right away and did the stuff from the back. But on this penal colony, that's the way you make it. Individual, get a store, hire your staff, do your zoo. You can sell drugs for a long time, like they do it now. But you out there on the corner, letting everybody gather around you. Everybody gather around you. It's the gathering. This is a penal colony. We're not allowed to gather like that. Get you one of these little storefronts and get your little hamburger little grill and sell hot dogs and handle your dude's ass. The people coming back and forth in and out for burgers, hot dogs, or whatever the hell it is, they don't understand. They don't notice that kind of operation. And those are successful operations. This is a penal colony. I'm not a cult. I'm not in a cult. I'm not even going to go there. but you can't gather. And if you're going to sell your wares out in the street, you got to keep moving. Because once you stop and they gather all around you, other than you have a permit, once you stop and they gather all around you, that's the problem. No gathering on this penal colony. So the gathering is the suspicion. If we do anything, they always think that it is a criminal enterprise. They say, oh, why can't we own business? And oh, why black people can't never own business? You're right. It's a penal colony, and you're the reason the penal colony is. No, you can't. You have to do it in a certain way. In the brick and mortar prison, they're not supposed to sell drugs, but they do it all the time. You have to do it in a certain way. They sell a lot of things in the brick and mortar prison that they're not supposed to sell. They can, but you have to do it in a certain way. On this penal colony, capitalism is king, and you can make money, and you can in a certain way, and the main way is not gathering. Not gathering. Do your business. There's this crayon lady. Oh, I can't think of her name right now. Oh my goodness. She did, it was crayon makeup. She just took the crayon box, made some changes on it and everything, and did her makeup and sold her own thing. She went all around on YouTube with her look. Just her, running around on YouTube doing that. Then she got her warehouse. I can't think of her name right now. It's like crayon makeup, and you got little boxes and stuff. Millionaire, probably billionaire by now. I can't think of her name. I watched her so low. She moved so low. She moved. She got her warehouse. You hire people. You don't group them up here with you. You hire them as workers. You can't group. I know they say, oh, you got to have a chairman. I fell for all that stuff. You got to have a board. You got to have this and that. That's white people. We can't move like that. When we move like that, that's called gathering for criminal enterprises. Elaine Arkansas, burnt to the ground. We said racism, not racism. Criminal enterprise. We were gathered. Labeled born in blood, inmate criminals gathered. So everything we were doing was considered a criminal enterprise. So that's why the penal state warden allowed them to burn down the towns. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood. No, they did not burn down Black Wall Street. It was a criminal enterprise to them, and now you're trying to bring Black Wall Street back. You're not understanding the significance of this being a penal colony and the reason why it was burnt down in the first place, because it is a criminal enterprise. And they burned it to the ground. They froze the bank accounts. They said, oh, they burned down the paper and they couldn't get the money from the account. No, in today's terms, they froze the bank accounts, burnt or took all the ill-gotten gain, and burned the town down and threw everybody in jail. That's what the concentration camp was. But you're not telling the story. Oh, that's what it was. They were gathered and they were enterprising. And on this penal colony, that's not allowed. So y'all go to there. I'm not following you. Oh, this Black Wall Street here, Black Wall. You don't even know the sniffers of it. you're setting yourself up to be burnt down. Because if you gather here on this penal colony, it's criminal enterprise. They were trading back and forth with each other. Rosewood too, trading back and forth with each other. Cattle, stock, doing good, laughing, talking. No. On this penal colony, for us, it's a criminal gathering. That's what, oh, we stand out in this corner, and every time we stand out in the corner, the police come and harass us and pick us up. Yes. Yes, they do. On this penal colony, because blood and water inmate criminals, when you gather, you gotta be doing some kind of criminal enterprise. So I'm glad for the internet, because now we can finally make your money, put your postings out there, contact touchy people. You ain't gonna be arrested. You can group on, of course, but you know they're always watching. But you can group on, I'm over time. You can group on your Facebook page and stuff like that. Now you can do it. Do it as an individual. LLC yourself as an individual. Sell your wares across the internet. Don't group. Don't group. Got a lot of stuff? Buy a warehouse. Get workers. But in that main office, don't group. You a secretary. You an accountant. No grouping. Criminal enterprising for us. Thanks for coming on the walk. Oh, a big one's coming. Oh, not so big. Like, comment, share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Handle your own business. You will have great success on this penal colony. You keep grouping, all you're going to find is a cell in a brick and mortar prison. Like, comment, share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Thanks for coming on the walk. See you tomorrow.